Today, I'm going to try and just show you how I build stuff and we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to be building like a bit of a nether warped giant mushroom nether warped house of justice. And just going to be starting right from scratch. I've just picked some blocks that I reckon I'll be building at least the mushroom with. I might use like spruce or something else to build like, I don't know, stairs and balconies with. But let's start by building the shape of the mushroom. So I reckon I'll start by making some sort of shape that I can kind of turn into a bit of a mushroom stem. And because it's a warped mushroom, I can be pretty crazy with it, I reckon. So where's the shapes tool? There. Let's just select warped stem as our block so we can kind of just visualize this. Or actually, no, it's kind of helpful rather than going straight to the texture. Just do something like bright that I can just measure the shape with. So we'll just pick like a light blue wool. And then that way I can kind of see just like the shape of the mushroom pretty easily. I just want to probably want to get myself some sort of, maybe a cone. If I kind of have a cone, rotate that like that. And I want to extend the height to be nice and high like this. Yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it. Paste and copy, and we'll just get another one, rotate it around 180 degrees and kind of make it bend a bit. Okay, maybe I'll just move it down slightly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I reckon we'll leave that shape like that. That's kind of like meant to be the stem. Well, I'll leave that there for ideas because I might actually want to try a few different stems. I might kind of want to make a bit of a house as the stem and then have the roof kind of turn into mushroom. Or actually what I think would be really cool is to build a bit of a house and then basically just move it to attach it to this and give it support on that. Yeah, I reckon that would be sick. We just move this over here and just chuck it in like that. And then maybe we'll just have like another little bit of house like down on a lower level as well. Yeah, I can see that working. Now I want to try something that might not work, but we'll try it out. If I just make a really thin kind of cylinder, rotate that a bit. Now I'll do like a bit of a cone, I reckon. Ooh. Hang on, this is working pretty cool. What happens if I meatball it? Whoa, that's not quite what I'm after, but it's cool to have in mind. I'm a bit of a beginner to Axiom. I'm still learning things, so there's probably going to be really weird things I do that are like, dude, why are you such a noob? But it's just, so if you have any advice on how I can improve, please let me know in the comments. Yeah, see, this shape is pretty cool. I reckon we'll leave that at that. So here we go. This is looking crazy. And I kind of want to have like little branches kind of branching up in here like this to support the mushroom hat a bit more. How does that look though? I don't know. It'd probably have to be pretty subtle, like it's a pretty crazy contrast between colors there, but it also looks a little bit too uniform as well. So maybe I'll just try making it look a little bit crazier. Pretty handy being able to just like delete all of these once I disconnect them. Maybe I'll just like kind of make them like kind of whirly around. Make sure that they don't look too straight. This is already actually looking better. Yeah, cool. That looks a lot more warpy. And you know, I'm looking at this and I'm realizing I kind of want to make another bit of a box to represent a house down the very bottom, have a bit of a base. So let's just move this over into here. Yeah. It almost looks like a face now, but I don't think it will when it's done. Now it's a little bit too pointy on the top, so I might just move some of this down a little bit. Let's just plan for a little bit of a balcony here, I reckon. I love balconies, they're so freaking cool. And another one here would be good. Maybe we could do it with a little bit of an overhang of the blue here. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe we could make it kind of have a little few bits that kind of really droop down. Because it's like warped wart. I don't see that as being really all that uniform. It needs to be like droopy and gooey. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool. Now, I reckon we better make this hollow because at the moment it's just fully solid. So thankfully it's really easy to do that. I've got world edit, so /pos1 to set my first position and go over to this other corner and /pos2 and /hollow. Bam. Now it should be hollow on the inside. Yay. Nice. Now that is grouse. That is very grouse. Very sweet. Very nice. Now, texturing. Let's just replace the blue wool with warped wart block. There we go. And replace the light blue wool with warped stem. Okay, cool. But we're definitely going to want to make a bit of a gradient for this for the hat. I was going to say leaves, but it's not leaves. It's mushroom hat thing. So Axiom has a really cool tool where you can just like pick this color picker here, chuck this, put this there, and I can see other blocks that are similar colors, and I could just drag this down. Get something that's a bit darker. Oh, dark prismarine I'm hesitant to use because I don't really have a prismarine farm at the moment, or an ink farm, but we'll just... Frick, I didn't mean to do that. We'll just see how we go. There's really only these two blocks that are darker than the warped wart. What's brighter? Okay, yeah, we can put cyan wool up the top. Yeah, we don't want to make it too complicated. We'll just do a little bit of a gradient here. Kind of just make things go down. Make all the colors kind of feel less uniform. I'm going to mainly use warped wood because, well, that's just a lot easier to get. If this was something I was only building in creative, then I wouldn't care about what blocks I'm using to, like, based on how hard it is to get them. I'm not quite at the stage in my hardcore world where I want to build a guardian farm, so I really just have to go to the ocean monuments and just mine all of the dark prismarine manually. Now let's just randomize it a bit. Just add patches here and there down this way. Kind of make it look like it's kind of going up the mushroom, I guess. Like a warped kind of pattern. Okay, that's looking a bit sweeter, a bit nicer. And we'll put a little bit of cyan wool just at the top here and have it like kind of go down like that as well. It's really subtle, but I think that'll go nicely. Sometimes it's the subtle things that really just make the build so much nicer. I don't know the easier way to do this. I'm just wanting to flip all these around to be like not facing downwards. I guess that's something that I can just do when I'm building it in the hardcore world. Now, unfortunately, twisting vines aren't something that I can just like have hanging from the ceiling, which would be sick. So I'm trying to think like, what could I use instead of that? I don't know if glowberries would be weird because it's like green. It's a bright green instead of blue. It does look kind of cool, but it's not quite the right color. Would it be weird to use red? Use crimson vines? Because it is still nether themed. I mean, yeah, that actually kind of works. I like that. Just feel like I don't want to go overboard with it. Let's do a few little ones here and there. Yeah, I like that. It's like a really nice contrast. Would it be crazy to put these on top of here? Yeah, I feel like that's a bit strange. Now, this is going to be built in a crimson forest. So the mushroom itself is going to pop really nicely because it's blue in a red area. And I could build like blue, crimson, warped houses here, but I feel like that'll not really pop nicely with the mushroom. But if I did crimson houses, it wouldn't pop nicely with the biome. So I feel like I've got to do a different color altogether. I mean, what about just like stripped oak? I mean, stripped spruce, heck. Actually, I quite like that as kind of a trim. And then we could actually do warped wood and just have a spruce trim. Yeah, that actually could be nice. Yeah. Now that I've visualized that, I think I should really focus on the shape before I start like texturing this, because obviously this isn't really the shape I want to go for just yet. Before I start like texturing, I should probably build a bit of what I want for the shape of the roof, which I think, well, crimson stairs could be nice because it kind of matches the purpley pink kind of bit of the warped wood. Yeah, this is looking really nice, actually. I'm loving this. Okay. Ooh, okay, that's pretty. Okay, I've just like done a bit of a gradient instead of like trying to make things work with the other textures, and oh my goodness. That is, I'm a fan. This is looking cool. But it's not quite looking like it's attached to the mushroom yet. I feel like we kind of need to make this just weirdly kind of merge into the house. It's kind of like this. Yeah, that's actually making it look like it's a part of the mushroom now. That's great. Let's just remove the wall of this mushroom on the inside so that it's like, I guess there's more space in here and there's no wall dividing it. Should I do a spruce door or a crimson door? Let's see. Spruce door looks like that. Crimson door matches the roof. Feel like maybe the spruce door? I'm gonna want it from the inside. Do I want it to match the trim or the roof? I don't know. I think I'll match it with the roof. And with that, maybe I'll match the glass with the roof. Add some purple glass, I reckon. Kind of coordinate it between like purple and red. That'll kind of create a bit of a good mix in between. Yeah, that works. That's good. Yeah, that's looking cool. Now let's just do this little house bit, little room. Oh, I forgot to do like a proper fence for the balcony here. Silly me. Oh, nice. Okay, now continue on with this. So first, I'm just deciding on the shape of the walls. and then I'll texture them. So I'm like, yes, I want a window like that. All right, now let's texture it like this, and that's pretty good. Texture it here as well. Not a whole lot of room to texture it, but that works. And we'll do a little bit of a roof, add in some balcony and some stained glass. And I need to merge it into the mushroom once again. Very nice. Before I go into that little room there, kind of want to add like little windows here. Maybe we'll have a bit of a spruce trim. Yeah, that's cool. That's gonna be epic. All right. Let's turn these into spruce trim. Fill in these walls. I reckon I thought I'd add a little thing there because otherwise it's just a box and I don't want it to just be a box. Give it a nice simple roof. Yep, that is nice. Let's just use the clone tool so I can get that exact same look on the other side right here. Sweet. Now let's use the gradient picker to just get a nice selection of blocks in between. Oh, that doesn't really... It's not quite what I want. If we chuck this here. Okay, we'll use that. Let's just kind of make a little bit of a bottom here and just kind of gradient it up, but in a warped kind of way. And now that this is all covered by house, we can actually remove all of the stem that's in here to save resources and also to make a bit of space. Back to texturing all of this. Yeah, it's not quite a smooth transition. Do we have anything good in between here? I mean, smooth basalt, dark priz. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool wall. Let's just clone that whole thing, put it on this side, just change it up a little bit so it's not completely the same. Yeah, nice. Looking pretty sweet. Now we just gotta add like little doors and details and stuff like that. Yeah, these like little kind of trims to the windows are gonna look pretty sick as well. It's hard to fit everything in though, because I've got like, it's only a small bit of space to do these little details. But it's nice, it's looking snazzy and jazzy. I feel like I gotta be a bit consistent and have a bit of a trim like that on these windows as well. Or a little inconsistent, because then it's a little less uniform and repetitive. Yeah, this is looking real nice. Add little stained glass windies. Okay, yeah, this is looking so cool. Now I feel like I've just got to add like other details, like let's add a chimney or two here and there. I always love to make my chimney pipes just a bit wonky because it makes it look more organic rather than just straight pipes. Like if we just did two pipes here, it can look good, but I personally like more wonky ones. Or having a combination of both wonky and straight pipes is also pretty cool. Man, chimneys just add so much atmosphere to builds with the smoke particles. I remember before we had campfires in Minecraft, everyone would just make chimneys using spider webs. When they added campfires, it just made for like the chimneys and builds, just improved builds so much. I mean, that whole update like revolutionized building, I reckon, the village and pillage update. It's when they added like stripped logs and chimney, like campfires as well, and all sorts of amazing things. I reckon we add a few chimneys on top of the mushroom as well. Yeah, cool. That is neat. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a cool build. I hope you found it kind of somewhat educational. I know I didn't like kind of do a like full tutorial on how to build this exact thing, but I showed you the process, my thinking process of how I actually plan my builds. So I obviously haven't done the interior, so if you want to know how I think about my interiors, just check out this VOD. In the meantime, I'll see you later.